Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 53 of Talkin ATL. I'm as you know, all should know by now. My name is John, and I'm joined by the most beautiful co-hosts I could ask for, Mr. Chase and Andrew Jefferson. Fellas, how was your weekend?
It was I'm always just gonna take away the Atlanta Falcons from our weekend because I'm just for the past 4 weeks we've just expected nothing but disappointment because that's what we've gotten. So take away the Atlanta Falcons. My week was pretty good. Pretty chill week. It's cold. We're heading towards the middle of November. Man, it's getting nice and chilly outside. But I love it. This is like perfect weather. The perfect weather to just cuddle inside, stay
Yeah.
warm, stay up till 10 p.m. and watch some Atlanta Hawks West Coast basketball, baby. Because we got the LA Clippers on the West Coast tonight, baby. Starting that long, not really long. It's like a 4 game, starting that out west road trip that the Atlanta Hawks have once a year. Usually it's about this time of the year. We try to get out of the way pretty
Yeah.
early. And we have officially reached that time of the season where you're going to stay up late the next couple of nights watching some Hawks West Coast basketball, baby.
I have a
Beautiful
question.
time of the year.
You said snuggle inside, but you're in an apartment with dudes. So who are you snuggling with? Because there sure
I
ain't me.
I thought
What's wrong with the homies?
I thought the answer was pretty clear. John picked up on it pretty well. I mean,
there's nothing wrong with snuggling with the homies. I mean, come on.
yeah. What are you trying to say?
It's nice hot chocolate. Got the AC on it, like 75 degrees.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you
exactly.
what. I'll tell you what, Chase.
No.
I'll tell you what.
I don't want to hear it, Andrew.
Hold on,
It sounds like you have a
hold on.
problem with it. It sounds like you have a problem with what I just said.
I'm
And if
gonna
you have
make-
a problem with what I just said, I have a problem with you.
I'm gonna make a deal with you. If you stop talking for like 30 seconds. If the Hawks win 3 of our 4 games on this West Coast road trip, whatever that following episode will be, we can snuggle on camera together.
Okay.
I got you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you some. I'm gonna get you some hot chocolate. I'm gonna get you some marshmallows in that cup, and we are just gonna cuddle, man.
So I want to make sure I'm hearing this correctly. So this week we got the Clippers, Kings, Jazz, and Suns all on the road, and we probably won't record again until after the Suns game on November 16th. So if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're saying is that if we win 3 of these next 4 games, when we record, we will be sharing a camera, snuggled on the couch, and you'll be feeding me hot chocolate.
I'm not feeding you hot chocolate. I just said I have hot chocolate for you.
But you're gonna make me hot chocolate.
Well,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, we're
That's
both
what he
gonna.
said. Yeah, that's what he said.
We're gonna make it a whole snuggle sesh.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, there
Sure.
you go.
Okay.
Okay.
But
I'm down.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. It's recorded. It's on camera. If the Hawks win 3 out of the 4 of these next games, Chase and Andrew will snuggle on camera drinking hot chocolate for next week's episode.
Yes, we will.
Absolutely.
As far as my weekend was kind of crappy. My season started for basketball.
Yeah.
Didn't win a single game. Lost 2 close games, but we got smacked in 2 other games. But I mean, it
Look,
happens.
If it makes you feel any better,
First game
John,
jitters out of the way.
Yeah.
The Hawks did the same thing. So,
Look,
I'm
if
not gonna
it
complain.
makes you feel any better, Joiner, I looked after you told me that you guys played Auburn for the last game. I actually stumbled upon the Instagram page, I guess, for that Auburn basketball team that you guys played,
Yeah.
and they posted the final scores, and it
Yeah.
seemed like they ran through absolutely everybody.
Oh no,
So-
they did. They did 100%.
Yeah, they went 4-0 on the weekend, and I think the closest game was like 18 points. And I'm like, good Lord, this team is freaking loaded.
Which you mean like that's what they were expected to do? They were gonna run through everyone. I mean, we were basically their warm up games when like actually start playing actual competition later on in the season. But I mean, you know what? And as we usually do, we're gonna we usually start with the start bench cut. But instead of that, I have a controversial Christmas question for y'all.
Christmas question.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You better watch your mouth, man, because you could say some bad things. You messing with Christmas, bro. You say controversial on Christmas. If we're talking about, I'm gonna let you ask the question, but I get very personal when we get to Christmas.
All right, I'm an open book when it comes to Christmas questions, John. Let me hear it.
Do y'all listen to Christmas? Do y'all start listening to Christmas music before or after Thanksgiving?
Oh my gosh, let me start because I I'm going to pour my heart out for a minute because I have had these kind of conversations with a lot of people in the last 2 weeks, I would say, because I've noticed now, listen, I'm not hating on you. You know, you have free will. You do what you want, but I don't think it's unfair to say that if you start celebrating Christmas before Thanksgiving, you deserve the death penalty. I don't think that's unfair to say. I really don't. I mean, I can't force you to get into the electric chair, but I can definitely, advise that you do, just so that way we don't have psychopaths running around our society. But Thanksgiving is a holiday, man, and we got to treat it like it should be treated. Look, who doesn't want to celebrate a holiday that that all you do is eat? All you do is eat and watch football.
And watch football. Hold on.
That's what I said. All you do is eat and watch football. Yeah, and look, but people want to start pulling out their cute little Christmas trees, their little Christmas lights when it's literally November 10th. And I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And that goes for Christmas music. We were shopping. We were shopping for clothes for the new job that we're starting in the next few days. And all I heard in those stores that we were shopping in were Christmas music. And I don't want to hear that. You know why I don't want to hear it? Because by the time it gets to December, I'm going to be sick and tired of it. And I don't want to be sick and tired of Christmas music. No. I want to be sitting there listening to Mariah Carey, with my pants off in my car with the cold breeze blowing on my balls. But I can't do that if I'm tired of Mariah Carey by the time I get done eating my turkey.
Oh, hang on. Hey, no. You got to hear John's question. He's not necessarily asking, is it, do you celebrate Christmas before or after Thanksgiving? He's asking about Christmas music specifically, and that's a different.
Yes. I think I answered that. I think I answered that pretty clear.
Let me reiterate, because I know that there are families with big houses and it takes time to like set up the house for Christmas and stuff. So I get that, but Christmas music you can turn on at any point of the day. So that's why I'm saying wait till after you finish eating the turkey.
Thank you.
Thank you. And watching your Thanksgiving football. I mean, come on, you can wait to turn on the radio for that kind of stuff.
Thank you, John.
But saying the house, I understand because it takes time, especially if it's a big house and you have a small family or something. I get that. I get that.
You know what? I will say there are some exceptions. Exceptions.
And, I think y'all hit the nail on the head when you're talking about, celebrating Christmas too early, like before Thanksgiving. It's like you said, Angie, Thanksgiving is a holiday. And it's not necessarily the fact that, Christmas has to start once it hits December or has to start after Thanksgiving. It's just about the blatant disrespect to the Thanksgiving holiday that you just think you can just skip on right by it because Christmas is right around the corner. Now I love Christmas just like the next guy. I want to share that respect to Thanksgiving, and you just put on some fall decorations, put some little turkeys out, maybe some fall leaves spread across the table, that kind of stuff. Now, but because look, my girlfriend, look, she is a Christmas, fanatic, and Christmas for her starts on Halloween. That's what she did during Halloween. She decorated for Christmas, and to that, I'm like, whoa, hold up now.
Yeah, my friend says the exact same thing.
She makes a very valid point when it comes to Christmas music, and I'm completely on board. Now, Christmas music, I think, can start as early as your little heart desires. And here's why. Why. There is no Thanksgiving music. Christmas music is the music of the fall and the winter, when it hits around this time of the season, that's what I want to hear. So, Angie, I had a different mindset when we were shopping for clothes for work. I was scrolling through Belks, through where else were we? Ross, and I was bumping my head, I was vibing to the Christmas music in the background, because nothing says fall weather than this type of chilly breeze outside, leaves falling on the ground, Mariah Carey singing in your ear as you sit back and watch some football, some basketball, maybe a little bit of hockey if you're into hockey, that. And the reason it's okay is because it's okay to listen to to Christmas music before Thanksgiving, you're warming up to the season. Like you might listen to a little Christmas music here and there before Thanksgiving because you're inching closer to the time where you can just play. Don't put your hands down. I'm making a valid argument here because we're getting closer to the prime season where you can just play it full blast and fully embrace what the Christmas season is. So when it comes to like Christmas decorations and fully celebrating Christmas, I think you should wait till after Thanksgiving. But when it comes to Christmas music specifically, I think before Thanksgiving is perfectly okay if that's what your heart desires.
Okay. So for me, I'm going to side with Andrew a little bit. But hold on, hear me out. There's one song I will give that exception, and we've mentioned it multiple times.
Okay.
Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You should be played year long.
It's a banger.
It's the greatest Christmas music song of all time.
I can't lie, it's a banger.
A freaking wall.
Listen, I love Mariah Carey, and I love that song.
With a wall.
But I only want to hear that song when my calendar strikes December. That's the only time I want to hear it. Because when I'm gearing up for Thanksgiving, I'm not thinking about Santa's fat butt coming down my chimney. I'm thinking about this turkey that I'm about to devour. So I'm like, Mariah Carey, shut up. I'm trying to eat my turkey.
And aren't you more of a ham guy anyway? You kind of already disrespect the turkey meat.
No.
I am a ham person. I like ham better than turkey. I do.
I don't understand him, John. He's a tough nut to crack.
How are y'all twins? I don't understand. I don't understand how you do the twin telepathy thing. I don't disagree as much as y'all do. How?
Look,
sometimes I look at Andrew's values and I'm a little disgusted.
A honey baked ham is so much better than a juicy turkey.
No,
so much better.
Turkey's for Thanksgiving, ham is for Christmas.
And I agree. And that's
Thanksgiving tea turkey.
I
heard Canadians.
Hold on. That's a weird thing about me, John, because I agree with that. I agree that ham is more of a Christmas meat and turkey is more of a Thanksgiving meat. But I can't just pretend that ham is not better than turkey because it 100% is better than turkey. Well, so if somebody brings ham,
but like Thanksgiving, the turkey is for Thanksgiving.
But if somebody brings ham to a Thanksgiving function, I'm going to take the ham over the turkey.
Yeah, I agree with you that. I agree with you that. But turkey is the primary meat.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I can't deny that fact. I can't deny that.
Juicy turkey clears any type of ham. Clears.
So are y'all ready to get into some Hawks basketball?
Yeah, I guess that is what we're here for. Before we get into Hawks basketball, though, I do want to take this time to say Happy Veterans Day. I believe it's tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, shoot, you're right. It is Veterans Day. Veterans Day is tomorrow.
Yep. So just
right.
you know,
I completely forgot about it. Shoot.
Yeah, so just, happy Veterans Day to anybody out there who might have served in our military at any point in their life or have any ancestors or relatives that did the same thing. Just be sure you thank them for their service, and we want to say thank you for your service. If you happen to be a veteran and you stumble on this video, because we really do appreciate it. I mean, we're over here rambling about what's better, ham or turkey, or when you should listen to Christmas music. But at the end of the day, it was y'all's sacrifices that made those debates possible. So we want to thank you for this.
And also, real quick, before we get to the games, we do have some Hawks news that dropped today or yesterday about legendary coach and former player Coach Lenny Wilkins. He did pass away, I believe, this morning.
Yep.
So just thoughts and prayers to the family. And what a tremendous career he had for the St. Louis Hawks. And what a legendary career he had coaching the Hawks. And just prayers after him and his family, and hopefully he's at peace.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it happened sometime yesterday. They gave him a shout out during the Sunday Night Football game. When they talked about that. So I don't know exactly when it happened. I assume last night. But definitely news that kind of shook not just the basketball community, but the sports community in general.
Yeah, for sure. Legendary coach in itself.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Let's get into some Hawks basketball.
Absolutely, baby.
Did we talk about the Cavs game last episode?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're starting the
Yep.
Magic game. Okay.
Yep.
So on Tuesday we had our game against Orlando, which we did not have. We had everyone, I believe, but Trey, because he was still dealing with the
Yeah.
injury. So our starters were Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Zachary Richardson, and Kristaps Porzingis. And I believe what I was, or that one of us was, I just want to point out about what a good job like Nikhil has done.
Right.
Like stepping in for Trey Young, like
Absolutely.
he had 20 points this game. He had 20 points, 2 assists, a block, and a rebound. And and Zachary finally broke out, dropped 21 points. And just real quick, what do y'all think about this game?
I will say, I'll go ahead and just say now that I think Zachary.
Yeah.
Oh, Andrew's giving me a funny look. Did I say something?
No, it's good.
Oh, I will go ahead and say that Zachary, like you said, John, Zachary finally having a bust-out performance, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and I think that's going to be a key topic that we're going to talk about the rest of this video. I think Zachary Richey's offense, because what a week that man has had. It was finally just like a breath of fresh air to see him, put up some great offensive numbers, because he really has had a slow start to the year. And literally right before this game on Tuesday, I saw some Hawks fans debating on Instagram saying whether or not Zachary was worth a #1 pick just because of how little he's produced on offense. And it's almost like Zachary saw that exact debate and decided to turn it up a notch. Because like you said, Nikhil Alexander-Walker's done a great job step up for Trey Young. Like when Trey Young's off the court, the whole offense has to step up together. And Zachary's been one of the top guys this entire week. That's really done his job. He's really attacked the glass. He's going back to being a confident shooter, and he started to knock down more threes than he did the previous weeks. I think he's just spiking his confidence. So just proper shout out to Zachary Richardson. What a week he's had in general.
Speaking of that post with Zachary, it's kind of reminds me of that Last Dance meme, the Michael Jordan meme, where he's like, I took that personally when he I don't know whether I watched The Last Dance at all when it came out a few years ago.
I know what clip you're talking about. I haven't seen the whole documentary, but I know what clip you're talking about.
I should definitely check it out. It'll really open your eyes on how good Michael Jordan was, honestly.
Yes. Yeah, and I just want to go back. Y'all guys were talking about Zachary. I think that's just the perfect explanation for this game, because literally the game before against Cleveland was arguably his worst game of the season in terms of just lack of production. And your guys right. And he kind of just followed the trend for the Atlanta Hawks. Think about the game going into this situation that kind of built up going into this game. You have a Magic team and a Hawks team that had so much early preseason high expectations because of the moves that were made in the offseason and the footprints they let from last season. And now you got both teams that have had key injuries to kick off the season. Both teams were under 500 at that point, and both teams were really searching for a momentum shift. And you had the first broadcast on NBC basketball that featured the Atlanta Hawks. So we got to engulf ourselves in the NBC broadcast that is now the premium broadcast of the NBA. And I just want to appreciate
and
NBC
thank goodness,
because I have never seen a broadcast show the fans the home team's introduction on the jumbo screen and then transition to the players. That is something that I think every broadcast should have, because that was freaking incredible. That whole pregame presentation got me feeling like I was at State Farm Arena. So, and just the trend of this game right here, the Hawks just jumped out as such a big start. We won the first quarter 32-23. We had a key stretch late in the first quarter that helped us close out strong. And then we opened the second quarter on a 13-0 run. And then later in the half and in the final 4 minutes, we pulled even further away on a 14-1 run. And by halftime, the Hawks already built such a significant lead, and they continued to extend that lead in the third quarter by scoring near 40 points to help us maintain control. And then even though the Magic scored 35 in the fourth quarter, it was too little too late because Atlanta's already done the heavy lifting. So, and that's just what I like seeing from this Quinn Snyder team is we dictated the tempo of this game right from tip-off. We got that double-digit lead, and we never let Orlando seriously threaten with a comeback because we've seen that in previous games, right? I mean, we had the Brooklyn Nets game where we had the Nets flirting with the comeback in the fourth quarter. We saw that we lost the game in Chicago because we couldn't maintain that 6-point lead we had in the final 5 minutes. But the Hawks maintained their double-digit lead, and we maintained our tempo. And that, to me, I mean, well, once we get to the Lakers game, that's going to shake what I'm about to say now. But up until that point, that was the best brand of team basketball we've ever seen the Atlanta Hawks see, in my opinion. And before I pass it on to one of you guys, I want to just give 2 shout-outs to the Atlanta Hawks players. Y'all were talking about Zachary Richardson because not only did he lead the scoring with 21 points, including 11 points in the first 4 minutes of the game, he surpassed the 1,000 career point milestone in the first half. And I want to, because look, you're talking about Zach not being worthy of a first round pick. He has 1,000 career points in less than 1.5 seasons.
That's mad impressive.
Yeah, you look at that and tell me if the baguette from France is not worth a number 1 overall pick. Get out of here with that crap. And last episode, we were talking about Dyson Daniels and how much backlash he was getting because he wasn't worth the contract extension. Well, let me tell you, Dyson Daniels scored an efficient 18 points on 8 of 9 from the field, and he also recorded 2 steals, which extended his streak to 60 straight games with at least 1 steal, which is the second longest in Hawks franchise history and the 9th longest in NBA history. So all you guys out there that's saying Zach and Dyson aren't worth it, you guys aren't Hawks fans.
We got to reiterate, we did not sign Dyson for his offensive production. We signed him for his defense.
Exactly.
But we're glad that he's stepping it up on offense because Trae was out. We need him to step up.
And I will say, like, I think that, like, the difference between the Hawks and the Magic, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I think
you toot it. You toot it.
I'm gonna, you're right. I'm gonna toot my own horn. Why do people always say I don't want to toot my own horn? What's wrong with tooting your own horn? I love tooting my horn, and I'm gonna toot my horn right now.
Do it right now before I come into your room and toot it for you.
I'm gonna toot my horn on camera, and y'all gonna watch, and y'all gonna like it too. Okay, so
I want to see it.
I go back to a couple of episodes when I was talking about the Atlanta Magic heading into the season, and I always mentioned that I always felt like that the Magic was going to flop. They were going to fail expectations. Now, I do want to say we are way too early in the season to be saying that a team is either exceeding or failing expectations. But actually, right now, they are definitely trending downwards. I think the problem is, number one, it's already going to bite them in the butt. They already see it now, and I think Magic fans are getting stressed. I was going through the comment section after the Hawks beat the Magic, and they already talking about how the Magic messed up trading 3 first-round picks for Desmond Bane, which Desmond Bane, by the way, buddy, he's already morphing into what Desmond Bane used to be. I know he is Desmond Bane. God, I'm forgetting his name. Guys, no, he plays for the Suns right now. Dylan Brooks. He's morphing into what Dylan Brooks used to be when he was on the Grizzlies. He's just an aggressive. He's turning into Draymond Green. I find that's a better comparison. He feels like because of his size and because of his thank you. Whoever pulled that up, I just want to say thank you. Because of his defensive stance, that he can just do whatever he wants. And Desmond Bane, when he gets frustrated, he gets frustrated. And in this moment right here, it was Onyeka Okongwu that was going on a fast break opportunity. He had a dunk right in his hands, but right when he was going for a dunk, Desmond Bane grabs his arm, which yanks him to the ground, and then the ball falls in Desmond Bane's hands, and as it does, he slams it on top of Okongwu's head. It started a whole scruffle. Fans are screaming at him. Muhammad Gay had Okongwu's back, got right up in his face.
This is what I'm saying. Why is Desmond Bane pointing at Okongwu right here? Because Okongwu had nothing to do with the play.
No. It was Okongwu that got fouled. That's Muhammad Gay.
That's what I meant. Why is he pointing at Muhammad Gay like that? Because he had nothing to do with it. Of course
dude.
he's going to go up there and avenge his teammate. He just got volleyball slammed with a basketball for no reason. It was just pure frustration.
Well, that's why he's pointing at him, because Muhammad Gay had something to say about it. He was like saying, "Oh, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?" I just want to say, if they would actually brawled right then and there, Muhammad Gay is gonna mollywop him to the ground. He's gonna do a 1-2 chicken piece combo, and Desmond Bane's out for the season, dude. Like, I would love to see him to try something on Desmond Bane. Like, I would love to see Desmond Bane try to do something on Muhammad Gay.
And look, notice how he's not pointing down; he's pointing up because of the size advantage. Like that right there should tell you everything you need to know. And in case you guys are wondering, yes, they reviewed it, and yes, that resulted in a flagrant 2 foul. So it was 2 free throws, possession for the Hawks, and Desmond Bane had to walk his sorry butt back to the locker room.
And but back to my point about the Magic, I think their problem is like the thing for the Hawks and the Magic, and I think it showcased themselves very well on this Tuesday matchup, is that the Hawks have an identity, the Magic don't. Like, even without Trae Young, take Trae Young out of the picture, we still have that chemistry on offense, on the offensive side. And we have our inside defense figured out, which was a big problem last year. And a big answer to that is giving Muhammad Gay more minutes. His interior defense has been phenomenal, and he even racked up 2 very key blocks late in the game against the Magic that kind of slowed down, that kind of halted any comeback that they tried. But that's what the Hawks have and the Magic don't. Like, the Magic were supposed to be a really great defensive team. And especially because of the inclusion, well, mainly because of the inclusion of Desmond Bane and then having him pair with Jonathan Isaac. They don't even have that. And then watching them offensively, they have no idea what they're doing. Other than Pablo Banchero, they have no other primary scorer.
Why do you say that?
Pablo Banchero has been shut down. He was shut down massively the second game of the season when we faded Orlando, and he had a pretty decent first half, but did nothing in the second half. So why the Hawks take away their star, they still have an identity. Take away Pablo from the Magic, they have nothing, and they don't know what they're going to do, and they're going to be a very lackluster team until they figure that out. Now, the last point I want to make is the Hawks were phenomenal on the fast break side of this game. Yeah. You know, I talked about the interior defense. They quickly translated that into transition offense. And Jalen Johnson, I didn't know this, he had 10 transition drives that either resulted in a dunk or a layup, and he hit a combined speed of 13 miles per hour every time the Hawks were on transition. Could you imagine a guy like Jalen Johnson running at
what was that ESPN show called? Sports Science or something?
Sports Science, yeah. Sports Science.
We got some sports science stats out here.
Shout out to the guy who used to run Sports Science. I forgot his name, but he committed suicide a couple months ago. And
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, shout out to that. But that man was our childhood. That man was a legend. But could you just imagine a guy like Jalen Johnson running at you 13 miles per hour? Who's going to stop that?
No,
nobody. The answer is nobody.
I want to go back to what you said about Paul Banchero, because that's really the biggest flaw with this Orlando team, Chase. I think you said it perfectly. I mean, you take a look at what Atlanta did in that game. We shot 56% from the field. And so we already showed Orlando, hey, we've got offensive rhythm right now. We're enjoying our time. But look what the Magic were battling with. Paul Banchero had a near triple-double. He had 22 points, 11 rebounds. He was 2 assists shy, but he was Orlando's only performer. And one guy cannot overcome a team's flow. And on the other side, the momentum, we already talked about Desmond Bane and, how he was very lackluster, and that flagrant foul was kind of just the end-all be-all for that situation. But this is the biggest thing, I think, that if you're Orlando and you're trying to if you want to find the most frustrating thing for an Orlando Magic fan, it's this statistic right here. Hawks, the Magic committed 30 fouls, with 3 of those being technicals. 30 fouls in an NBA game is ridiculous, and that just goes
frustration fouls.
That just goes that the Magic.
Jason, you good?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Speaking of holiday season, Go out and get some holiday creamy vanilla Coke. This junk slaps.
I just had those the other day.
Not
I just had the Pack Shack was selling them the other day. Yeah.
Tell me they don't slap.
If you want to sponsor
They slap so hard.
If you want to sponsor us, Coca-Cola, go right for it. But let me go and get through my point real quick. So those 30 fouls just goes ahead and shows you all the key discipline issues that's going on the other side, that sideline. And then if there's any look, I know the Hawks were not perfect. We're still trying to find our true identity right now, even though we're playing great basketball over the last 6-game span. But if there's anything you want to be a reassurance, it's that the Hawks, after this Magic game, has scored 100 or more points in all 8 games that season up until that point. So if anything, we can at least rely on the fact that the Hawks have a very consistent offensive output that you can expect every single night. So, yeah.
I do want to correct myself. I before I sent to you, Joy, I do want to correct myself.
Yeah.
Pablo actually did have a pretty good game. He actually had 22 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. But this is the funny part. He led the team in points.
When I said that stat line about 4 minutes ago, too.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I because after you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. He actually had a better game than I thought. So I'm like correcting myself because I just said he didn't do very much. But listen to this. He led the team in points, rebounds, and assists. So that just shows you that the rest of the team ain't doing crap. I don't know what does.
Right.
But John, what you got for us, man?
I was gonna move on to the next game.
Let's do it. Oh yeah, because this game right here, frustrated everybody, not just us three.
Especially us three. I think us three had a bit more personal things to it. So we had our second game on Friday. Our second group play game. Our first group play game at home, I believe.
Which the court looked so
against our favorite team, the Toronto Raptors.
Yes.
Sorry, our favorite team, the Toronto Raptors. Sorry, I had to see in there. But anyways, yeah. So we had a beautiful red court, absolutely beautiful. But before I get into it, I was not able to watch this game because I was in Auburn preparing for my games. So I'll y'all talk me through what happened in this game.
I got you.
But yeah, we again the Toronto just owns us in basketball. And we lost this game 109 to 97. So one of y'all can take the reins on this one.
I got you. I know. I just want
to say.
Go ahead, Chase.
No, before you start talking, I just wanted to say that the more the more acquainted we get with Toronto, the more I'm starting to not like Canada or dinosaurs.
Okay.
What?
Fair enough.
I just wanted to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I just want to pull up this picture because I want this to be an appreciation post because we have probably a top 3 NBA caliber.
Whoa. Well, stop. You want to shout out our court? You're going to pull up a picture of RJ Barrett throwing his nuts on one of our guys? Yeah, get out of here. Pull up a better picture.
No. See, if you were letting me finish my point, that was going to be my next inclusion. But, you just got to let me get through it, man. You got to let me get through it. Because what I was going to say was the only unfortunate thing is when you look up images from this game, they're all Raptor images because the Hawks did nothing to fend off the Raptors attack. But Chase, I want to thank you for ruining my good transition that I had planned. But
I thought that was disrespectful.
That's right. I'll just find another way to crap on your transition whenever the opportunity presents itself.
Is there beef? I thought there's beef between us. I don't know about.
There's got to be some sort of beef between you.
I'm just vibing over here, and Agents act like he hates my guts. Like, what kind of beef we got, man?
Listen, man, this game is just touchy. This game is very touchy, and it's touchy.
Man.
It's touchy once you figure out how easily the Hawks should have won this game. Because the Hawks, they were tied at 26 after the first quarter, and then guess what? Atlanta, you might not believe it by looking at the score, but Atlanta surged in that second quarter, and we found a way to take the 53-44 lead at halftime, thanks to very strong execution to end that quarter.
21-7 run.
Then, this is when Toronto mounted their comeback. By the midway point of the fourth quarter, the Raptors had taken the lead because of a Scotty Barnes layup, which Scotty Barnes had a horrible game, but he did make this contested layup to pull him up 82-81 in the fourth quarter. And then a timely three-pointer by Emmanuel Quickley, who had a really good game, the following possession, got them up 85-81. And that just helped Toronto pull away down the stretch for the rest of the way. And this is what was so frustrating, because the third quarter was very competitive. Atlanta's offense went really cold, and Toronto's was like, there was a point in the second quarter where the Raptors went 7 straight minutes without a field goal. And that's kind of how the Hawks were able to build their lead. But when you hear that stat and you heard everything we said about Atlanta's offense in that game against Orlando, you would expect us to have built a bigger lead than just 9. But that's because the Atlanta Hawks offense was very lackluster. It's just as lackluster, if not worse, than Toronto. They just had the upper hand in the final 5 minutes of that game. And look, I'll give some I won't crap on you stars to some of these players, because Jalen Johnson, he had 21 points, and he was showing great aggression without showing on the court like he has the last few games. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I'll give you the same we won't crap on you star, because you backed up what you did in that Orlando game, and you helped pave the way with 20 points and provided a very solid offensive effort. But I want to ask you guys this, and I'll let, I guess, Chase, you can take the floor, or John, I'll let you speak on this. I can get that picture out of the way now that you get the picture of how this game went. I just want to ask you guys this question, okay? So there's a lot that went wrong in this game. I mean, you can talk about how bad the offense was, because if you pull up the shooting splits, it's well under 40%. I mean, they're just abysmal. So when you saw Atlanta's offense start taking over in the second half, and then the scoring dropped off significantly starting that third quarter, which allowed Toronto to take over, I want to ask, so because you want to be happy of how the Hawks defense played, because the Hawks early defense, we held the Raptors to under 30% from the three in the first half, but we couldn't maintain it. So I'm going to ask you guys this. So if you're Quinn Snyder and you get your boys in the locker room after a game like that, your defense was stellar. Your defense was that you forced the turnovers you were supposed to force. You got the rebounds. You got the blocks. You had great spacing on the defensive side of the court. The switches looked amazing. The Raptors couldn't find an answer until late in the fourth quarter. So, what do you think? You can talk about the offensive splits all you want. What do you think the biggest problem is with the Hawks in this game? Like, why do you think we truly lost this game? Because it wasn't not just aside from the offense, because I want to see if y'all guys pick up on the same thing I picked up on. So take away the shooting splits and complimenting the good defense. What do you think the reason the Hawks lost this game was?
I'm not reasoning with you, Andrew. To me, in my eyes, I'm interested to see what you got to say about this, because you said you know something different. And in my eyes, I don't see this any more than an offensive collapse. I have no problem with how he played defensively. I actually loved our defense in this game. This was completely on the offense. They were the ones to blame. They lost the game. I don't see any other way we lost the game other than offensively.
What you got?
Well, I mean, like I said, I was able to watch the game because I was in Auburn at the time. Just looking at it, looking at these, the stats, I would either say either points to the paint or fast break points.
Yep. So more offense. Yep.
So this is what I was going to say. I was trying to see if y'all
maybe steals too.
Because I feel like a thing that's been kind of lurking under the shadows for a while is Trae Young right now, because everyone's looking at how we played against the Lakers Saturday, how we played against the Magic before this game, the fact that we've won 4 games out of our last 6 since Trae Young's been gone. And people are saying the Hawks don't need Trae Young, which I agree. The Hawks do not need Trae Young. We're playing great team basketball. there's guys that are stepping up to the plate right now that are showing prominent splits of being a team leader that can easily fill in the void that Trae Young is. But I feel like this game against the Raptors should have opened up to Hawks' eyes and be like, okay, why are we giving Trae Young so much crap when he's just suffered a big injury? He's sitting on the bench. He's having to sit and recover and take physical training and just take all this heat without having to respond. But this game right here shows me how spoiled Atlanta Hawks fans are sometimes, which is kind of crazy to say. Because
I would say spoiled. Making the plane every year ain't spoiled if you ask me.
We're not spoiled. I don't know where you got that from.
Again, if you let me finish my point, you ruined another transition for me, Chase. You ruined another transition for me, Chase, because that was going to be my point. That was going to be my point. I was going to say, I had this whole speech prepared about like, oh, Andrew, how we spoiled. We can't even get out of the plane. But thanks, Chase. Thanks for pointing out the obvious there. But I'm going to give you a little head tap with this stick that I got there.
I promise y'all Andrew loves me. You might not be able to tell from this video, but I promise he loves me.
You're just stealing my thunder there. Bring your head closer to the
I promise he loves me, y'all.
Anyway.
I feel like I'm like Andrew's like my dad, and I'm like his son who's just like trying to impress my dad, and like I'm trying to convince myself that like dad loves me, but he really doesn't. I thought that's what this is.
This relationship is not abusive, guys. They actually love each other.
Do better, Chase. Do better. But anyways, I say spoiled and how spoiled we are with the players that we get in this organization, because I think this game right here is one of the games that Hawks fans refuses to openly say it with their mouths. But we needed Trae Young in this game right here. And the reason why I say that, because I think the reason why we really lost this game is because the Hawks could not move the ball. There was zero ball movement in that second half. Zero ball movement. And an assist, and I want to say this right, assist is not ball movement. You have to move the ball to get assist, but assist does not always mean you're moving the ball correctly, because you can do a simple, oh my gosh, I'm getting double teamed, dish out, guy throws up a fadeaway at the buzzer and it somehow goes in and you get an assist for that. That does not always mean the ball's moving good, because the ball was not moving good in that third quarter. In the fourth quarter, that was the reason why we had so many turnovers, because there was a point in that game we couldn't even move the ball up half court because we didn't know where we should dish the ball, because Toronto had a full court pressure going in the final 7 minutes of that game. That caught us off guard. But normally, Trae Young has a good response for that. And I'm not trying to sit here and say, oh, Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Porzingis, you had great games. But take away those three players right there. Nobody complimented that. Jalen had the inside score. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was good in the post. Porzingis was good grabbing the boards. But there was nobody else getting the team involved. It's like once we got stagnant, we were like, oh, shoot, we've got to force this game through Jalen Johnson because he's the only one that's doing right. And then once he started doing wrong, that's when the Hawks got stagnant. And that's where I compliment Trae Young, because I know it's easy to say that we don't need Trae Young, and you're absolutely right, we don't. And I'm on the fence about trading him at the trade deadline because of how well we're playing. But when the Hawks had Trae Young and the Hawks ever went stagnant like this, it was a pleasure to have a guy like that, to know how to play make, know how to move the ball, and create open shots for his teammates, which is something that no Hawks players were able to step up and do in the second half against the Raptors.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you here.
Okay.
And I am not going to say that Trae would have helped their case at all. Not this year's Trae Young. And here's the thing: going back and like,
what we don't really know what this year's Trae Young is, though.
Yeah, we've only had him for like 4 games.
Yeah.
This is based on what we've seen Trae Young. I mentioned this in the last video, talking about the first couple of games of the season. Trae Young is trying to be he's trying to put his cape on. He's trying to be Superman when he doesn't have to be. Instead of trying to get himself involved in the playmaking and try to use weapons around him, he's still trying to be the star of the team, and he's trying to be the one-man show when he doesn't have to be. And we could go into that, but we have a whole other game to get into, so I'll save this speech for later. But going back and just watching the first half alone, I think it was some of the best ball movement I've seen the Hawks have all year in terms of off ball movement. Players were moving around. The whole team was touching ball every possession. We got a very comfortable lead halfway through the third quarter. But it's like right when we hit the 70-point mark, we got comfortable. We thought the game was well controlled.
We didn't get comfortable. The largest lead we had.
Hang on. We got comfortable. The Hawks got comfortable. They thought they had this game in full control. They thought they had the Raptors number. They thought they were going to cruise to 2 start in group play. The Hawks got comfortable. Now, and then what happened is the Raptors figured out how to play basketball again. And they attacked us. They attacked us. Listen, man. They attacked us the same way they attacked us the first game of the season. Inside scoring. Like you said, AG, the Hawks were not able to grab any defensive boards, and they attacked the rim, and it was lazy defense. Just like the first game, it was very lazy inside defense where he kind of just stood around, watched him get close to the rim, and put very soft contests. And I don't know if maybe it's because we felt like we could just go into the other end of the court, use some fancy ball movement and get the points right back, which we did halfway through the third quarter. It was like once it hit 6 minutes left of the third, we hit the 70-point mark. We just stopped. We stopped on the break, and we just watched the rest game play out because we had a 10-point lead at the time. And I'm telling you, go back and watch the highlights. Once it hits the 6 minutes part of the third quarter, you're not going to see one offensive possession that looked good. And then listen. Then it hit panic mode. And fourth quarter, when the Raptors took the lead, the Hawks just started chunking up a whole bunch of unnecessary threes. This is why I don't think Trae Young would have helped that. What has Trae Young been this entire year since before he got injured? He's been Superman with a cape. You're telling me, given the scenario I just laid out, that you just laid out, you would have thrown Trae Young in that scenario and you think he would have helped our ball movement? Yes. No. He would have been the one chunking the unnecessary threes and ruining. Listen, buddy, you just talked for 9 minutes straight. Let me get my point out. He would have been the one chunking the unnecessary threes and slowing down the momentum instead of Kristaps Porzingis doing it, Zachary Richardson doing it, Nickeil Alexander-Walker doing it. It would have been just Trae Young, and it probably would have been worse. Now, insert last year Trae Young when he was more Steve Nash-ish, then I can see your argument. But until we see that version of Trae Young –
that makes no sense. How are you going to say insert last year's Trae Young when this Trae Young's only got 4 games? Because I know what you're saying.
That's what I'm basing it off of, what we've seen so far.
But it's not like he wasn't moving. Look, you've got to give him some back off him a little bit in the first 4 games because you've got to expect him. He's trying to figure this all out in his head.
Yeah.
He's never had this team around him. He doesn't really know what role he's supposed to play. But the last 2 games, he was last year's Trae Young. That game against Chicago, he had 8 assists in the first half. That game against Chicago was last year's Trae Young. And in the first quarter against Brooklyn, he had 3 assists in the first 7 minutes. He was figuring it out.
We can't count the Brooklyn game.
It's not fair for you to say, oh, my gosh, this year's Trae Young is so bad. He's so selfish. Because I saw a very unselfish Trae Young in the last 2 games before he got hurt.
You can't count Brooklyn as one of his last games. He played barely a first quarter.
That's what I was saying, idiot, that he had 3 assists in the first quarter. So I was saying that he was getting unselfish. But if you're going to say insert last year's Trae Young, why is that not your basis for Trae Young? Why can't that be your basis for Trae Young? Why does it have to be this year's Trae Young and last year's Trae Young? Why can't it just be because we know what he excels at? He excels in playmaking. And the Hawks lost that game because our teammates didn't have any open shots and we had nobody to create open shots for us. Trae Young would have done that. End of story.
Thank God, man. I feel like Andrew hates me. I'm sorry. Andrew is very rude and aggressive toward me. I'm over here just sharing my opinion. I mean, man, I feel like I have to just be quiet now.
I'm on my Stephen A. Smith right now. Okay, you say something I feel like was over the line. I gotta let you know.
It's the same reason. Based on your argument, Andrew, Clippers fans should be saying, "Well, James Harden, James Harden should help the Clippers because you look at James Harden with the Rockets. Look what he did to the Rockets. Why is he not?" That's what you're saying. I'm saying that Trae Young would not have helped the case against Toronto because this is 2025, 2026 Trae Young. It did. What we saw, don't say Chicago was a good game. Yes, he
It was
had
a
a
great
lot.
game.
Shut up, dude. Yes, he had a lot of assists, but he had some. He had a horrible shooting percentage, and I mean terrible. So bad for the fact that Pat Beverly used that as an opportunity to call him out on X for one of his little rants. Trey Young this year, I hate to say, listen, Trey Young this year, I hate to say it, has been nothing but severely disappointing. And
Well,
it's not
yes,
his,
you're absolutely right.
listen, and it's not his fault.
Yes.
Because, like you said, Andrew, he has never had this star-studded team around. He's always had to be Superman with a cape. He doesn't know how to be in a team with a lot, and that's going to take time. But based on the sample size that we've been watching Trey Young with the team that he has this year, how Trey Young has played with this team, not last year's team, with this team, he would have drowned the Hawks a lot faster than they drowned themselves against Toronto. End of story.
I'm just confused because I'm talking about how Trey Young would have helped move the ball, but you keep wanting to bring up his
He would have. He would have.
Trey Young's never made our ball movement worse. You can talk
this
about
year he has. He hasn't been a playmaker this year. He has not been a playmaker this year.
You can talk about how bad his shooting splits have been all you want, but he'll never make our team's ball movement worse.
He has this year. He's not a playmaker. This year, what we've seen Trey Young, he has not been a playmaker. Watch against Toronto. Watch against the Thunder.
He's always been a playmaker. He just needs to be
not this year. Not this year. Okay. Not this year. He hasn't.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on to the Lakers game on this past Saturday, which again I wasn't able to watch because I was in Auburn doing some basketball stuff myself. We were down a bunch of starters. Basically everyone except Dyson and Zachary. Kristaps was out, which actually fun fact. I'm gonna have to tell you guys this, but my brother actually saw Kristaps Porzingis. I'm at the airport on I think it was Thursday. He said he saw him because he works at I'm at the airport in the international terminal. And
did he talk to him?
No, he didn't. He didn't like notice. He didn't like know that it was him. He just said, "Hey, I'm like one of his like coworkers came up and said, "Hey, I said he's got did you see the 7'3" guy?" And he said no. And he said no. Who was it? I said that might have been Kristaps Porzingis. So we didn't really see him, but he walked right by him.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah. I mean, so he was coming from some international tournaments. So he might have gone home to Latvia, I think. But no, yeah, it was pretty cool.
That actually is sick.
Yeah. That my brother was by mere feet from Kristaps. But
yeah, can't imagine he's a hard guy to miss.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's 7'3", so
he's a literal unicorn.
But anyways, we were down. We were down most of our starters because I think Kristaps was out with. I think this is the game he was feeling sick, right? He had flu-like symptoms or something.
Yeah, he was sick. Then we had two players that had the flu. It was him, and who was the other one? Someone else was sick.
Well, Jalen didn't play because of a right quad confusion.
Yeah,
and then Nall had low back muscle spasms. So we were just playing with Zachary, Dyson Daniels, Onyeka Okongwu, okay, and then some random Keaton Wallace. Some random point guard that I guess we just called up.
Well, yeah, it beats me.
Yeah, don't know who that guy is.
Probably won't last very long.
Yeah, probably not. But anyways, but the Lakers did not have the GOAT, the King, LeBron James.
Because his butt's too busy vibrating.
I thought you were talking about Austin Reeves. I think Austin Reeves is the GOAT in New York.
Right. Reyes, but he was also out as well. He didn't play. It It was Marcus. It was just Marcus Smart for the Lakers. Luka Doncic, DeAndre Ayton, Jake LaRavia, and Rory Hachimura. But I'll let you guys take this one away again because
You look.
like I said,
all I'm going to say
Cinema.
is that if we had Trae Young, we would have won that game by 40.
Well, don't page me as a Trae Young hater. What I said is very valid. But Joyner,
What you said is very valid.
To your point, man. After a collapse like the Hawks had in the previous game against the Raptors, this was a game they needed. And I remember I remember when you posted that in the group chat, just listing all the injuries we had. No Jalen, no Nickeil Alexander-Walker, no Kristaps. I was in my head and I was like, we are going to get throttled tonight, and we're going to be heading out west on such a downward spiral.
Like this right there. Like that was us right there. The Hawks came into this game, we were like, all right, Lakers, let's tip off. Let's do it. And then all of a sudden, we turned around and we bent them over, baby. Go ahead, Chelsea, tell us how it was done.
So that was the night that Florida State and Clemson played. So we were all downstairs watching that. I'm like, I'm gonna keep up with the game. Just hopefully it doesn't get that bad. Where they,
me and my friends were watching one of the college football games that happened that night. It was
you had LSU Alabama going on that time.
Right. Yeah, we were watching LSU Alabama. Yeah.
And then Virginia Wake was on.
I think we were also watching Arkansas Michigan State. I think on Saturday. Yeah.
The
basketball game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great game, by the way.
Yes, it was. Just yeah.
So I remember it was halfway through the second quarter, and one of our buddies was downstairs on the couch. I was watching the game, and he just said the Hawks are up by 15 on the Lakers. And I was like, huh? He's like, yeah, man, they're up by 15. So I pulled up the ESPN app. I started going through the game. I'm like, yo. But then in my head, I'm like, okay, it's only the second. We're only halfway through the second quarter. I'm like, this could easily get bad. But I'm like, hey, this is pretty impressive. I'm seeing Muhammad Gay's numbers, Asa Newell's numbers. I'm like, okay, I see you, Atlanta. I go back into the Florida State game, and then I get the notification that the third quarter just ended for the Hawks game. I look at my phone. Hawks are up by it was 20-something.
Yeah. And
I'm like, dog, this is actually happening. We are actually beating the Lakers with our G League team. And, Joyner, you broke down the numbers for us. I think what this really says about the Hawks is that, because, you could say, no Austin Reeves for the Lakers, but take Austin Reeves out of the equation and put him up against the team the Atlanta Hawks had. There is no reason the Hawks should have full control. And when I say full control, there is not one moment in the game the Lakers were in it. The Hawks came out firing right off the bat. We were up by 11 at the end of the first quarter. We just never looked back. And that's what it just shows you that there is so much depth on this Hawks team that you really can't ever count them out. Because look at the starting five. Muhammad Gay, best game he's ever had as Atlanta Hawk.
Yes.
Asa Newell, obviously the best game he's ever had. He had 27 minutes, the most he's ever had, but 17 points, 5 rebounds, and he is so freaking good defensively. Asa Newell is a defensive dog, and so is Muhammad Gay, but he translates that into offense. Put that out with 7 boards and 7 assists. Muhammad Gay was one of our best, if not the best playmaker, I'd say probably next to Dyson Daniels, that was on the court that night. And we just picked the Lakers apart. I think you know what? It's more about the response to me. Before I kick it off to you, Andrews, I know you have a lot to say as well. It's the response. It's after collapsing to a team like Toronto at home in a very important group stage game. It was, and then coming into this game with all the injuries and the sicknesses, it's the response by this young Atlanta Hawks team to go get star-studded veterans and just dominate them on your home court. I guarantee you, we are flying. Well, we're already in LA, but we flew to LA with fully healthy team now. I think it's fully healthy. I haven't looked at the injury report quite yet tonight.
I know that Nikola Jurgic and Trae Young are out, obviously.
Right.
But I believe that Jalen and Naw are questionable.
But regardless, even if we are a little iffy, we're a lot more healthy than we were against the Lakers. But we are going on this very impressive road trip. Very impressive, very difficult 4-game out west road trip with more confidence than we probably ever had before. And I can just imagine what Quinn Snyder's thinking right now. I think Saturday night showed Quinn Snyder what he has, the team he is controlling right now, knowing that starting lineup off the bench to the tail end of the bench to Asa Newell, Vic Krivec, who's getting a lot more minutes. And what a game he had. Even Caleb Houston, he only put up 8 points, so he was great defensively, and he showcased some good ball movement as well. Those are weapons. Those aren't just end of the bench guys. Those are weapons that you can actually use to take out anybody. You just beat the Lakers with that team. A veteran-studded team with DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, LeBron and Austin Reeves without healthy, Luka Doncic. You just took a team, this G League level team, against a star-studded veteran team like the Lakers, and you picked them apart on your home court. That is a team that Quinn Snyder has the keys to. He has to have more confidence he probably ever has before.
Yeah.
Andrew?
I guess my turn now. So Chase said a lot.
Yes.
It was everything. It was everything this game was not supposed to be. It turned out that way, and I think Chase is absolutely right with how static Quinn Snyder has to be and how this Hawks team looked. This very young core that were put on the front lines because of some very unforeseen circumstances, and it was a response game that the Hawks really, really needed. And big shout out. I know Chase said it. Just about everybody, but I'll kind of list them off here and give him a little bit more attention. Muhammad Gay, career high 21 points, and he was 6 statistical collections aside or short of a triple double. He had 7 rebounds, 7 assists, all of this in his second start of the season. And let me tell you, Muhammad Gay, man, I think he's probably the most underappreciated big in the NBA because he has the ability to move like a guard. And he does sometimes, especially on fast breaks. There's that one transition where he caught the ball in mid-court, took a few dribbles, and did a little reverse layup underneath the rim from one side to the other, kind of like Kyrie Irving would have done in his prime on a fast break. And when you see it, and we know how good he is from beyond the arc. So when you see a big shoot like that on that efficient and has 7 rebounds and 7 assists as a big man. Last game against the Raptors, we talked about how bad our ball movement looked. Here's Muhammad Gay dishing out 7 assists here. That's a good sign. And then Dyson Daniels compliments his 10 points, but more notably had 13 assists. 13 assists from the great barrier thief. And he was 2 rebounds shy of a triple-double himself. And he also, again, extended his steal streak to 62 straight games for the franchise. And then Zachary Richardson had another impressive night with 19 points. But what I really saw here, because Luka Doncic coming into this game, averaging 40 points, was just held at 22 points, and all in the first half. And he had 11 assists, 5 rebounds. It wasn't a bad night by any means, but it wasn't a Luka Doncic night. And it's not a night that the Lakers were hoping he would have, because that's not a night that's going to lift up the void that the Lakers also had, because they were missing some of their major contributors as well. But the Hawks, it was the other side of the coin from what we saw in the Raptors game. We delivered excellent ball movement. We had great spacing, even with the majority of our team out. And the next play, it was almost like you didn't know what the next play was going to present itself, because all these players were stepping into roles they never played before. Chase, you talked about Asa Newell getting 4 steals in the first quarter, or maybe it was the first half. I don't remember. It was something very, very impressive. First half, yeah. In the Orlando game, the Hawks set the tone by building that large cushion early, and they forced the Lakers to chase and take more risks, which no team can hardly ever afford. And the Lakers, very sluggish and lackluster on their defensive stops, and that allowed the Hawks to continue to build that lead, because we never lost our foot. We put one foot in front of the other every single possession, and it was very lethargic as a because the Lakers were on a 5-game winning streak going to that game. They were looking to take total control of the West. And they're on a big road trip as well. And this should have been, on paper, one of their easier wins on that road stretch. But the Hawks forced them to look very lethargic. And the Hawks snapped that win streak. We had that third quarter performance where we went on that 22-4 run that you mentioned, Chase. And if you watch that clip, if you watch that third quarter clip, it is prime, pivotal ball movement that your 12-year-old AAU coach would have taught you during warmups, because it's just ABC basketball. And these Hawks players did it so well in the absence of all their key contributors. And so the game after that 22-4 run, we reached a 26-point lead going to the fourth. The game was gone. And just a little fun fact out there for you guys, Atlanta achieved their largest third quarter lead versus the Lakers. That 26-point lead we had in the third quarter is the largest lead the Hawks have ever had over the Lakers since 1959.
Wow. That's impressive.
And we had almost none of our key contributors on the court. So shout out to you, Atlanta Hawks. Like you said, Chase, I bet you Quinn Snyder had the biggest smirk on his face. I mean, a smile from ear to ear boarding that plane because of what the Hawks – because I'm sure even he was looking at the injury list, was like, all right, we're going to have to go to L.A. on a 2-game losing streak. But no, we have momentum now. We've got momentum now, and it's only going to take about 2 more wins to get out of the play-in slot in the Eastern Conference, and it's all because of that performance right there.
I think I'm just looking at 37 assists. This reminds me of like a game this time last year in Chicago when the Hawks were facing the same kind of difficulty, had a lot of injuries. That's when Keaton Wallace had to take Trae Young's spot. We really got to know Keaton Wallace a lot, and same with what was his name? He's not on this year's roster. Oh, someone help me out. It was that Chicago game. Him and Keaton Wallace went crazy in the game in Chicago.
Oh my gosh. Crap. What is his name? I know here. I'll look at it. You keep talking, Chase. I'll figure it out.
But I mean, same instance. Like it reminds me of that game. Like just in the midst of so much adversity.
That's actually a really good comparison, Chase. That's a good comparison.
In the midst of adversity, having to use emergency players like that, you just love seeing them and just gel together. Like, look at the lineup, and they were able to rack up 37 assists against the Lakers. And I just want to shout out Asa Newell, man, for just he's just he's a great spot up shooter, man. Like, he's finding his identity already as a team. He's that guy that's going to sit in the corner that you can just kick out. You just know he's going to drain a three, and you love having a guy with that kind of comfort beyond the arc.
Are you thinking of David Roddy or is it DeQuan Plowden? Because they both
DeQuan Plowden. There we go. DeQuan Plowden. So it's it kind of reminds me of that.
There we go, boys.
Do you have any closing remarks at all, or?
I don't think so, man. I like this episode. I know you guys are gonna look at it and be like, "Dang, this is like what was it? Undisputed with Skip Bayless and what's his name?" And they ask that's what I think makes podcasts and shows go great, man. I like when things get intense, man. Because it shows that we care about this team now. We're passionate Hawks fans, So yes, I don't hate Chase. I don't hate Chase at all. I just like giving him a hard time.
I think he does.
I like these debates, man. I like these debates. I like these conversations because it gets in depth, and I think it really touches on all the points that we see from the Atlanta Hawks. Even though we might not all agree with what we say, we can all see that we're each pulling apart something new from these games, and I think this is really refreshing. This is a great episode, boys.
Okay, so when we drop another episode, we will be covering the Clippers game tonight.
Yep.
The Kings game on Wednesday, the Jazz game on Thursday, and the Suns game on Sunday. But you guys ever tune in to another episode of Talkin ATL Hawks? Caw-caw!
Caw-caw!